Hi, I'm Donald Trump, and I'm a businessman, and I'm a golfer, and there's no place that I'd rather do business than on a golf course, especially if it's one of my own.
Oh, yeah!
The picturesque halls of academia in College Park, Maryland, do not reverberate with the same fervent cheers that rock the Ryder Cup. The passion of players like Fred Funk has turned the Ryder Cup into a big business, whose proceeds allowed the former Maryland golf coach to aid the start of the Golf for Business and Life program that helps students improve their golf skill while learning how to use golf as a business tool.
And 59% said the way a person golfs is very similar to the way they conduct business. When you're out on the golf course, people evaluate you and take notice of you and perceive you in a way that they're going to judge your business acumen. So when you're on the golf course, unless it's planned or played properly, it can actually be detrimental to business. We look at the pros, and none of us mere mortals and amateurs can hit the balls like the pros, so we think that's necessary in business, which it isn't. It really isn't. Only 10% of Americans have ever legitimately broken 100. So I think your average amateur golfer is more intimidated than they need to be about the level of business golf play. They're going to have a jump in life above everybody else in their generation because they're going to be able to conduct themselves with the right kind of approach and the right kind of etiquette and make a good impression. And they may not be better than their peers, but they're sure going to appear like they are.
10 minutes before the 11 o'clock hour, and their visit created a real stir around Washington, which is supposed to not get all excited about things, but nevertheless, the royal couple, Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall, Camilla, spent days touring and sightseeing. What did they think of our area? What did we think of them? Hilary Brugan is standing by for us now, live with a little bit on sort of the view from both sides of the pond. I guess as Americans, the comparison was inevitable with the late Princess Diana.
Yes.
How did Camilla do in that regard, do you think?
Well, she didn't want to be compared to Diana, and she verbalizes that she doesn't want to be. Who would want to be compared to Diana? You can't compete.
Pretty tough with
yes.
it. You're a superstar, sort of.
Absolutely. You just can't compete with that je ne sais quoi, that beauty, that effervescence that Diana brought, and her tremendous warmth to people. However, I will say, having met Camilla, that she's extremely intelligent, a woman of substance, and what I really believe is that he did it the other way. He had the trophy wife first. This is the woman of substance and the woman that he dearly loves.
Okay, how about the prince now? He does seem a little more at ease, as
yes.
much as the House of Windsor ever allows itself to be at ease.
Like a little schoolboy in a terrible, terrible sunburn in a wool suit against his skin. That's how I heard it described. And I think he always looks so uncomfortable.
A little itchy and
yes.
scratchy there. Does he seem, though, happy finally after a very difficult period in his life?
I think he seems extremely comfortable, literally in his own skin. And he also seems settled, and now he's able to focus on those issues that matter to him.
Quickly, this is Washington. We're not supposed to get excited about high-profile visitors, but it
right.
did seem to me that there was a fair amount of excitement around this visit.
I do think there was an amount of excitement, Dave, not as there had been previously, though. It was low-key compared to how things were with Diana, and that's just the honest comparison.
Sure. Maybe the tenor of the times has something to do with that as well. Hilary
yes.
Brugan, thanks so much. Appreciate your joining us to talk a little bit
welcome.
about the royal visit. It was an interesting time around here. Hale Irwin is all business when he plays the Champions Tour, and our next guest is an expert in melding golf and business, but that's only part of the story. Hilary Brugan is a marketing expert and international business whiz. She was part of the bid to bring the Olympics here in 2012, and somewhere in all of that, she also finds time to be a great golfer who's on Columbia Country Club's team for the District and Maryland Championships. She's qualified for and played in the Southern Amateur the past 2 years, and now the jewel in her crown, she's a regular contributor here on Capital Golf Weekly.
Well, first thing, Dave, just like we can't pick our families, we can't pick our hosts. When someone invites you to the club, you got to hope they're a good host, because it all starts with the host. The host should do the right things, which is let you know when to arrive, when is the range open, where do you drop your bag, how do you go about all the preliminary golf logistics. No cell phones, the right attire, the right times. That should all come from the host. You have to hope. However, not all of us can pick a great host. It's because you're visualizing something positive. Our minds, actually, the best book I read on this, Dave, was Dr. B.F. Stein's The Mental Approach to Golf. fabulous book, tiny little book, very easy to read. You can get it on Amazon. What she says in there is fascinating to me, is that there's only actually, at any given moment, one thought that goes through our mind. The brain can't distinguish between positive or negative. So if you're looking at the bunker, you're looking at it. Your mind doesn't think, don't go in the bunker. Your mind's looking bunker, bunker, bunker. And that's why most people end up in the bunker. And I learned about this from Annika Sorensen, actually, and that's why I'm here for our guest Barefoot. They might think, why doesn't she have any does she have any shoes? Barefoot Hilary here. But yeah, actually, I read about Annika, and Annika gets up on this ball. So what's good about the ball, as well as the balancing, is that it's sort of nerve-wracking when you first get on. And what you have to do is you have to really calm yourself down, and you have to get really, really, really centered and calm. The only way to balance is to be really calm. You've got just for the month before April starts and we can get out on the golf course, believe me, you feel it all here. You feel it through your core. You're really, really strong.
This represents an opportunity for about 4 straight days of almost non-stop schmoozing if you decide to go. Do a lot of people take advantage of that?
Absolutely, Dave, they do. And it's used for corporate entertainment in terms of employee reward. A lot of entertaining goes out here, a lot of sales events, very big in terms of the corporate actually in the tents in terms of eating. Business meals and then walking the course with your clients and with your prospects. Just contrasting what I just said about the foul weather, Northern Europe gets rather nice in July and August. It can do. You can't guarantee that. In fact, the problem is, as they always say about the English summer, 9 months of anticipation, 3 months of disappointment.
Yes.
But I think you want to go north. I love to go to Canada to golf in the summer. The Rockies, the ball soars in. As an amateur, you can kid yourself that you can hit the ball 300 yards. Nobody wants to be embarrassed, least of all when you're trying to impress someone in business. So for business golf, there are a few rules that always stand. So a huge blunder that non-golfers make in that fourth category is undervaluing the tremendous power of business golf and the business bonding that occurs on the golf course. Once you've golfed with someone for 4 hours, it is the equivalent of working with someone for perhaps 4 months, or serving on a board with someone for 4 years, or bumping into someone at cocktail receptions in your business community for 4 years. It solidifies a business relationship for life. There are executives that I haven't golfed with for years, but the relationship was established and I can pick up the phone to them at any time. Very different than bumping into them a couple of times at a networking reception.
Well, all right, how are Britons, in particular Londoners, taking these attacks at this point from your monitoring of the folks back home?
I think, Nathan, that people are extremely stoic. They're very emotionally controlled. This was almost expected. I think as in Washington we've expected an attack such as this. So the emotional spirit is good. People are very brave. People return to work the next day, and there's a sense of defiance that life will not be altered, that people will go to work despite the bombings.
Gary, thank you so much for coming here to Washington today. Your team has the most incredible spirit, that international camaraderie. What are you going to be doing with your team to make sure that that helps them win?
Well, Hilary, we do have a very good team as far as camaraderie is concerned, and that's an essential ingredient when you have a team event to try and win. We have very formidable opponents in the United States.
Jack, at the Ryder Cup, it seems like the Brits seem like they're strolling down to a country pub, and when the internationals are playing, there's such camaraderie. How are you going to inspire our guys to have that same spirit as a team?
Well, you know, I don't think that there's not a whole lot of rah-rah in the captain doing stuff like that. I think really it's my job is to calm them down a little bit and get them relaxed to be able to play golf.